Taking a taxi at midnight had always been risky, but this driver was different. He drove quietly, didn't talk much, just did his job. That night, when 5 gang members attacked while he was picking up a young woman from a dangerous neighborhood, other drivers would have fled. But Marcus stepped out of his car, and what he did next was learn from 15 years in war zones. Welcome to Human Stories. Before we begin this courageous story, tell us in the comments which city you're watching from today, and if you believe stories like this need to be told, hit that subscribe button. These stories must not be forgotten. Marcus Rodriguez was one of the most reliable night shift taxi drivers in downtown Phoenix. At 43 years old, medium height, quiet and soft-spoken, he was a man who commanded respect through his actions. His graying hair showed signs of experience, and his face carried the marks of a life lived. His yellow cab was always spotless, the interior kept neat and fresh. He worked like clockwork, never broke his word, never left a passenger stranded. He worked the graveyard shift from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., covering the city's darkest hours, and never let any customer down. He'd been doing the same job for 10 years, and everyone knew him as Reliable Marcus. He worked out of the dispatch near Sky Harbor Airport. This was one of the busiest spots in the city, with constant movement day and night. International travelers, people getting off late shifts, partygoers heading home. Marcus served them all with the same professionalism. His cab was always ready, gas tank full, AC working. Customer satisfaction was his priority. His fellow drivers respected him greatly, and passengers preferred him. If Marcus is available, we're good, other drivers would say. He'll go anywhere without fear, never panics in any situation. He'll even go to the roughest neighborhoods. And it was true. Marcus was known for his composure and courage. While other drivers hesitated to go to areas they considered risky, Marcus never showed doubt, but nobody knew why. They assumed it was either natural bravery or experience gained over the years. Marcus wasn't much of a talker. He'd chat politely with passengers, give directions when needed, discuss the weather, but he didn't ask too many personal questions and didn't share much about himself. "Let's focus on business," he'd say. "Everyone's got a story in life, but not all of them need telling." This humble approach set him apart from other drivers. Passengers appreciated his calm and professional demeanor. Marcus wasn't married. He lived alone in a small apartment, leading a bachelor's life. His family was back in New Mexico, and he'd visit occasionally. He didn't use social media, rarely watched TV. In his free time, he read books, went for walks, lived quietly by himself. He didn't have many friends, but those he had loved him. He was reliable, a man of his word, honest. He knew the challenges of night work well. Drunk passengers, problematic neighborhoods, late-night security concerns, drivers falling asleep at the wheel, aggressive behavior. But Marcus never complained. In fact, he preferred working nights. "Nights are quiet," he'd say. "A person gets to be alone with their thoughts. The city has a different beauty at night, too." Actually, there were other reasons he preferred night shifts, but he never told anyone about those. He never wanted to work days. It was like he felt safer at night. His fellow drivers speculated about this preference. Marcus sleeps during the day, works at night. Maybe he's got a side job, some would say. But the truth was very different. Marcus preferred night work because he felt more useful during these hours. People working nights, those heading home late, people needing taxis in emergencies, serving them made him happy. That Saturday night, everything was normal. The weather was hot, a typical Phoenix summer night. Marcus had picked up a passenger from downtown and was heading to Scottsdale. The passenger was quiet, looking at her phone screen. She appeared to be a college student in her 20s. Marcus was listening to music, monitoring traffic. Phoenix's night traffic was as busy as usual, but Marcus was used to it. During these hours, the city took on a different character. The city that was fast-paced and stressful during the day became calmer at night, but also potentially more dangerous. While crossing the bridge, Marcus observed his passenger. The girl looked tired, constantly checking her phone. Maybe she was meeting friends, maybe heading home. Marcus didn't interfere. Everyone had their own life. Customer satisfaction was what mattered most. After dropping off the passenger in Scottsdale, Marcus took a short break. He got tea from a small convenience store, took a quick breather. The night was still young, there was more work to be done. His phone rang, a new call was coming in. At 1:30 a.m., he got a call. A female passenger was requesting pickup from South Phoenix. The address was in a somewhat problematic area, but Marcus accepted without hesitation. "No problem, I'm coming," he said over the radio. There was no reluctance in his voice. Other drivers were wary of going to that area at this hour, but for Marcus, every place was the same. He didn't harbor security concerns, or if he did, he didn't show it. Heading toward South Phoenix, Marcus knew the roads. This area was indeed somewhat problematic. Especially at night, there were incidents with public safety. But Marcus had been there before and never had problems. Maybe his careful approach and calm demeanor helped him avoid trouble. When he arrived at the specified address, a young woman aged 22-23 was waiting. Her name was Sophia. She was clearly a college student. She had a backpack, her books were visible too, but she looked somewhat anxious, looking around, seeming to be in a hurry. As she got in the car, she said, "Sir, can you take me to Tempe? I'm going to my friend's place." "Sure, no problem," Marcus said. He noticed the girl was a bit tense, but didn't interfere. Maybe school stress, maybe a family problem, maybe just anxiety from the late hour. There was no need to question everyone. He started the car and hit the road. He turned down the music, creating a comfortable atmosphere for the ride. During the trip, Sophia relaxed a bit. Marcus's calm demeanor affected her too. She felt safe in the car. "Sir, do you always work nights?" she asked. "Yes, miss. I've been on night shift for 10 years, Marcus said. "Isn't it tiring?" "It's a matter of habit. Nights are quiet, gives you time to think." "Isn't it dangerous?" "Every job has its risks. If you're careful, problems don't arise. We all live in this city. We all share the same risks." Marcus's answer was both encouraging and realistic. Sophia became curious. "Have you ever encountered bad situations?" Marcus thought. Dozens of memories came to mind, but he didn't share them. Sometimes it happens, but people find a way. The important thing is staying calm. He said it so simply, but the reality was much more complex. Marcus's past contained experiences very different from his current life. "It's nice that there are reliable drivers like you," Sophia said. "It puts people at ease." Marcus smiled. "I'm just doing my job. My passengers' safety is my responsibility." As they approached Tempe, Marcus noticed a car following them in his rearview mirror. A black Escalade, following a bit too closely. At first he thought it was coincidence, a normal situation in Phoenix traffic, but after several lane changes, he was certain they were being followed. The Escalade was tracking their every move. Marcus's pulse quickened, but he didn't make a sound. No need to scare Sophia. He tried a few maneuvers to be sure. He turned right. The Escalade turned too. He slowed down. The Escalade slowed too. He sped up. The Escalade sped up. This wasn't coincidence. Someone was deliberately following them. Alarm bells began ringing in Marcus's mind. Instincts he'd suppressed for years were awakening. He'd experienced this situation before, but under very different circumstances. Back then, being careful was necessary too. Back then, lives were also in danger. "Sophia," Marcus said in a calm voice, "is there anyone following you? An ex-boyfriend or someone bothering you?" Sophia's face changed, color drained. "How did you know?" "There's a black Escalade behind us. It's been following us for 3 blocks. This isn't coincidence." Sophia began to panic. Yes, there is. My ex-boyfriend, Miguel. He's a very troubled person. We broke up 6 months ago, but he won't leave me alone. He constantly follows me, threatens me. He tries to come to my house, waits for me at school. I told my family, but they want proof." Marcus's jaw tightened. He'd encountered such situations before. Domestic violence, harassment cases. These made Marcus very angry. "What kind of threats does he make?" "He says he'll beat me if I talk to other guys. He threatens my friends too. He's very aggressive. He drinks constantly too, loses control." "Stay calm, I'll keep you safe," Marcus said. The determination in his voice somewhat reassured Sophia, but the situation was getting serious. The Escalade was getting closer, displaying aggressive driving. Marcus sped up, but the Escalade sped up too. It was no longer trying to hide. "Let's call the police," Sophia said. "Not yet," Marcus said. "Let's try to get away first. Then we'll call if necessary." Marcus had a plan in his head. He knew how to handle this situation. On Central Avenue, the Escalade pulled alongside them. There were 5 people inside. They were shouting from the windows, trying to force the car to stop. Marcus hit the gas, but the Escalade cut in front of them. Sophia started crying. "What are we going to do? These people are very dangerous." Marcus stayed calm. Plans were rapidly forming in his head. He'd experienced this situation before, but under different circumstances. Back then, he'd faced much more dangerous situations. "Sophia, no matter what happens, don't get out of the car. Whatever they say, don't leave my side," he said. The Escalade's windows opened. People inside were shouting, cursing. "Sophia, get out. We need to talk," someone was yelling. This must be Miguel. It was clear they were drunk. The Escalade cut them off and stopped. 5 people got out, all young, ages 20 to 25, looking aggressive. They wore athletic clothing, some had tattoos. The one in front must be Miguel, the others his friends. Marcus stopped the car but left the engine running. "Sophia, very important. No matter what happens, don't get out of the car," he said. Miguel and his friends approached the taxi. "Sophia, get out, we need to talk," Miguel shouted. He was drunk and looked very angry. His face was bright red, his eyes bloodshot. Marcus cracked the window slightly. "What do you want at midnight?" he said. "Stay out of this, old man. We have business with the girl," said one of Miguel's friends. He was tall and muscular. "The girl doesn't want to go with you. Move along," Marcus said in a calm voice. "Who are you to interfere in our business?" another one shouted. "I'm a taxi driver. She's my passenger. Leave her alone," Marcus said. There was a firm tone in his voice. "Taxi driver. Then mind your business. Let the girl go," Miguel said. "No, she's my responsibility." The situation was heating up. 5 people had surrounded the car. Miguel punched the windshield. "Sophia, I'm telling you for the last time, get out. I need to talk to you." Sophia was trembling with fear. "Marcus, what are we going to do? These people are very dangerous. Miguel has lost it." "Stay calm," Marcus said. Something was changing inside him. A side he'd kept quiet for years was awakening. "Sophia, very important. No matter what happens, cover your ears and close your eyes. Don't open them at all." Marcus got out of the car. His posture had changed. He was no longer an ordinary taxi driver, but something else. His shoulders were tense, his steps measured, his eyes focused on scanning targets. His body language had completely transformed. Miguel and his friends didn't notice this. To them, he was still just an old taxi driver. "Ooh, gonna be a hero?" Miguel mocked. "You're old enough to know better. Don't wear yourself out. Take the girl and go." "You have no business here," Marcus said. His voice was calm but had a hard undertone. "Who are you? Are you threatening us?" said one of his friends, walking toward Marcus. The first attack came from that young man. He tried to punch Marcus, but Marcus was ready as if he'd been expecting it. He blocked the incoming punch so quickly and effectively that the young man lost his balance. In the same motion, Marcus's knee connected with the young man's abdomen. The young man collapsed, breathless. The movement had been so fast that the others couldn't understand what happened. Marcus's stance had completely changed. Feet shoulder-width apart, knees slightly bent, hands in ready position, left foot slightly forward. This was the stance of a professional fighter. The second young man also attacked. "Who are you?" he shouted, coming at him. Marcus stepped back 1 pace, using the attacker's momentum to put him on the ground. The movement was a judo technique and was executed perfectly. The young man couldn't understand what happened even as he hit the ground. The third person met the same fate. Marcus's movements were fluid, economical, and extremely effective. He seemed to expend no effort, as if he were dancing. Every movement was calculated, every step strategic. Miguel and his remaining friend were shocked. "Who is this guy?" his friend whispered. "Where did he learn this?" Miguel pulled out a knife. It was a small but sharp blade that came from his pocket. "Who are you? Where did you learn this?" Marcus stayed calm. Seeing the knife made him more alert. But he wasn't afraid. Instead, he became more focused. "Leave now," he said. "I don't want to hurt anyone. This is your last chance." But Miguel wouldn't listen. Alcohol and anger were controlling him. "Are you threatening me?" he shouted and attacked with the knife. He lunged toward Marcus. That's when Marcus's true skill emerged. He'd been trained to neutralize knife attacks. This movement was routine for him. He controlled Miguel's wrist, took the knife from his hand, and put him on the ground. The movement was so fast and professional it was as if he'd done it thousands of times. The last person tried to run, but Marcus stopped him too. He twisted his arm and brought him under control. All 5 people were now on the ground. No serious injuries, but none could move either. Marcus wasn't even breathing hard. "Sophia, call the police," Marcus said. There was no fatigue in his voice, just the calm of someone who'd finished a routine task. Sophia got out of the car, trembling as she called the police. "Marcus, who are you? How do you know these moves? You're not a normal taxi driver." Marcus smiled. "Old profession," he said. He didn't elaborate further. He kept the 5 men under control until police arrived. None could move, but they weren't injured either. They'd just been neutralized. Police arrived 10 minutes later. 3 units came. Understanding the seriousness of the situation, Sophia gave her statement. Security cameras had recorded the incident. Arrest warrants were issued for Miguel and his friends for harassment, threats, and assault. A police officer questioned Marcus. Where did you learn these moves? They look very professional, Marcus thought. Long time ago, different job, he said. Can you be more specific? I was a soldier, served in special forces. Details slowly emerged. Marcus Rodriguez had served 15 years in the U.S. Army, rising to the rank of Staff Sergeant in Special Forces. He'd been on covert operations in Afghanistan and Iraq, faced countless dangerous situations, close combat, weapons training, tactical operations, rescue missions. He'd specialized in all of them. After retirement, he'd become a taxi driver to live a normal life. Sophia looked in amazement. You were a soldier for 15 years? Yes, but now I'm just a taxi driver, Marcus said. Don't be so modest. You saved me. You saved my life. Protecting people is everyone's duty. I just did what I could. The sergeant talked with Marcus in more detail. Which unit were you with? Special Forces. Green Berets. Wow. People like you are very valuable. Why didn't you join the police force? I've done enough. Now I want a quiet life. The next day, the incident was covered in local media. Veteran taxi driver single-handedly neutralizes 5 attackers was the headline. Marcus's photo appeared in newspapers. But Marcus refused to give interviews. I just did my job, he said. No need to make a big deal of it. His fellow taxi drivers now looked at Marcus differently. We've been working with a hero for 15 years, they said. We never would have guessed. But Marcus continued with the same humility. I'm just a driver like you. No different. Passengers had also heard the news. They started specifically requesting Marcus. He became known as Safe Marcus. Especially female passengers preferred him during night hours. Marcus didn't let this trust down either. He became even more careful. A week later, a young driver came to Marcus. Marcus, this job has dangerous aspects. How do we protect ourselves? How do you do it? Marcus thought. First, be careful. Second, stay calm. Third, do the right thing when necessary. But most importantly, have empathy. Try to understand people. But we don't know how to fight like you do, the young man said. Knowing how to fight isn't important, Marcus said. What's important is making the right decision and implementing it with determination. Technique can be learned, but character develops over time. Real strength is here, he said, pointing to his heart. Sophia also frequently called Marcus, checking in on him. Marcus, I don't know what would have happened that night without you, she'd say. Miguel and his friends went to jail. I'm at peace now. You're a strong girl, Marcus would say. You could have protected yourself anyway. I just helped. No, sir, very bad things could have happened without you. I'm lucky to know someone like you. Sophia, you help others too. That's how the chain of kindness continues. Marcus's life hadn't changed much. He still drove the same taxi, worked the same hours, continued his modest life. But now people knew who he was. Not just a taxi driver, but an experienced veteran who could protect innocent people when necessary. His friends at the taxi stand started treating him differently. Marcus, can you teach us some too? Some asked. Marcus would laugh. The best defense is staying away from problematic situations, but if there's no escape, be determined. Miguel and his friends received prison sentences. Sophia was able to continue her life safely. Marcus's intervention that night might have prevented a major tragedy. Who knows? Those 5 people might have harmed others too. A month later, another veteran passenger got in Marcus's taxi. The man recognized his military background. What unit were you in? He asked. Special Forces, Marcus said. Me too. What years? 99, 2014. Wow, we went through a lot during those times. Those were tough times. Both remained silent during that conversation, because some memories were the kind only those who lived through those times could understand. How are you now? Were you able to adjust to civilian life? The passenger asked. I'm trying to adjust, Marcus said. The hardest part is the quiet. In war zones, you're constantly alert. Here it continues the same way. I'm the same way. That's why I do night work. Daytime seems too chaotic. Marcus nodded. Having someone else who understood this situation was good for him, but here we can help people too, a different kind of service. After last month's events, Marcus's perspective had changed a bit. Justice, protection, and service concepts were important in civilian life too. Maybe finishing his military service didn't mean he was completely removed from duty. Another day, an elderly woman passenger got in Marcus's taxi. "Son," she said, "are you the taxi driver who was in the news?" Marcus smiled. "Yes, ma'am. That's me. God bless you. You saved that girl. I wish all young people were like you." "Ma'am, that's what anyone would do. I just happened to be there." "No, son, not everyone can do that. It takes courage, knowledge. Where did you learn to be so strong?" Marcus thought. "Life taught me, ma'am. Hard times make people stronger." "Your family must be proud, too," the elderly woman said. Marcus's face darkened. "My family is in New Mexico. We don't see each other much." "Why, son, I don't want to worry them. When I was a soldier, I didn't talk much about what we experienced either." This conversation made Marcus think. Maybe he should be more open with his family. They wanted to know he was safe, too. That evening when he got home, he called his mother. "Mom, how are you?" "I'm fine, son. How are you? We miss you so much. I miss you too. Mom, I want to tell you something." He told his mother about that night's events, how he protected a girl, how his old skills came in handy. "Son, are you still doing dangerous work?" "No, Mom, I just drive a taxi. But sometimes people need help." "God protect you, but I'm proud. You were always a good-hearted child." This conversation was good for Marcus, feeling his family's support was important. Maybe it was time to make peace with his past. Changes were happening at the taxi stand, too. Young drivers were asking Marcus for advice. "Marcus, how do we recognize suspicious situations?" "Pay attention," Marcus would say. "Observe people. Learn normal behavior patterns. Recognizing the abnormal becomes easy." "What do we do when we're scared?" "Being scared is normal. But you need to control panic. Take deep breaths. Think about your options. Choose the safest one." Marcus was no longer just a taxi driver. He'd also become a mentor. He was giving life lessons to young drivers, providing advice on security matters. After Sophia graduated from university, she came to visit Marcus. "Marcus, I have good news for you. I found a job. I'm going to be a social worker." "Great news," Marcus said. "What kind of work?" "I'll work at a women's shelter. Like what you did that night, I'll help women in difficult situations." Marcus smiled with pride. "Very good choice. You'll succeed at this job." That night's incident changed my life. I realized that I wasn't just saved, but that I could save others too. "That's how the chain of kindness continues," Marcus said. Today, Marcus still drives a taxi on Phoenix streets. He hasn't given up the night shift. "The safety of people working at night is important," he says. "I have my duty too." Now he works more consciously. He notices suspicious situations earlier, takes extra precautions for his passengers' safety. He has police frequencies on his radio, can call for help quickly when needed. Marcus's story isn't just a heroism story, it's also a social responsibility story. That night, he not only saved Sophia, but also sent a message to society. Everyone can do what they can. Veterans have an important place in society. Their experience, discipline, and courage are valuable in civilian life too. Thousands of veterans like Marcus work in different jobs but emerge when necessary. Jobs that seem ordinary like taxi driving are actually social service, safely transporting people, being there during their difficult moments. This is also a type of protective duty. Marcus's humility is also remarkable, avoiding media attention, not wanting to be famous, just continuing to do his job. This is also an indicator of real heroism. Former soldiers, police officers, firefighters, all continue to work in different places, in different jobs in society, but when necessary, those old skills and experiences emerge. When we take a taxi at night, we usually see it just as transportation service. But Marcus's story shows that sometimes that taxi driver might be someone who could save our life. Have you ever met someone like Marcus? Someone who appears modest but shows great courage when necessary. Someone with a military background who continues to serve people in civilian life. Share their stories in the comments. If you believe stories like this need to be told, don't forget to subscribe. At Human Stories, we don't forget real heroes. Even if they don't seek fame, we won't forget them. And remember, next time you take a taxi, your driver might be someone who appears ordinary but has an extraordinary past. Showing respect to everyone is always the right thing to do because real heroes are sometimes found in the most unexpected places.